Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you here today with an article from The Federalist, and I think this is pretty apropos given that the State of the Union just happened. This article is from March 8th, so this was from yesterday from the time I'm recording this. I'm recording this on Saturday the 9th, so the State of the Union happened the Thursday beforehand on the 7th. So the article is titled, Biden Lied 30 Times During the State of the Union. Now, did I watch it? No, because I have better things to do, like literally anything else. I'm more interested in just the commentary and then maybe just the clips, especially some of Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House here, with his eyes rolling because, well, I think that was kind of everybody's reaction. And I have seen some of the clips, but again, I don't even know what to say at this point. But let's just dive right into it. So it says, here's the definitive list of Biden's biggest State of the Union falsehoods. And excuse me, not cutting that out. I bet you're going to hear a lot of them here. So let's just dive right the heck in. It says President Biden has been known to tell some pretty outrageous lies throughout his political career. So it came as no surprise when old Sleepy Joe spewed out more than a few whoppers during his State of the Union address on Thursday. It says from foreign policy to the economy, there was almost no subject in which the president didn't lie to the American people. In case you missed his dumpster fire speech, here's the definitive list of Biden's State of the Union falsehoods. Now, I haven't read, I skimmed, I think I saw the first two of these on here, so I haven't read this whole thing, so I'm going to kind of be doing this in real time with you guys, for those of you that didn't watch it. If you did watch it, you know all this already, or maybe there's something here that you missed. So let's go ahead and see what he said. So number one is sending money to Ukraine. It says Biden claimed that Republicans who oppose sending additional U.S. taxpayer dollars to Ukraine are doing so because they want America to walk away from our leadership in the world. That is false. Opponents of endlessly funding Ukraine's war with Russia have regularly stated that American interests must come before those of other nations. That seems like kind of a given to me. Wouldn't you want to take care of your own family before taking care of the strangers that live in a different neighborhood? Sounds about right. This Trump's NATO remarks, and yeah, I remember seeing him being Biden, getting a lot of flack for this because he totally lied about what Trump said. And I remember what Trump said. So it says Biden claimed former President Trump told Vladimir Putin, do whatever the hell you want regarding Russia's invasion of Europe, but that's not accurate. It says the former president's remarks came during a recent South Carolina rally during which Trump recounted a story from when he was president and speaking with a NATO member. Trump purportedly told this state that he would withhold U.S. support if they didn't pay their minimum defense spending obligations. It says, you didn't pay? You're delinquent? Trump recalled telling the unidentified NATO member. No, I would not protect you. In fact, I would encourage them to do whatever the hell they want. You got to pay. You got to pay your bills. Yeah, it's a little different. So let's go with world security and Ukraine, number three. Does Biden claim the free world is at risk if the U.S. doesn't ship more American taxpayer dollars to Ukraine? There's literally no evidence to support this assertion. Yeah, it's trying to play on your emotions to be like, oh my God, is it really? We need to help these guys. But no, yeah, it's not. So number four is the January 6th demonstrations. It says, the president claimed that the January 6th, 2021 demonstrations, and now that I've mentioned that, there's probably going to be one of those wiki notes on the video. So if you're watching this and you see that below, well, it's because I said these words. It says, so the president claimed that the January 6, 2021 demonstrations at the U.S. Capitol and concerns and lawsuits regarding the integrity of the 2020 election posed the gravest threat to American democracy since the Civil War. This, contrary to Biden's claim, the J6 events did not put American self-governance in jeopardy, nor did it expose Americans to risks like those experienced during World War I, the Japanese attacks on Pearl Harbor, or World War II, to name a few. Yeah, I heard that he mentioned kind of all these things, and it's like, yeah, when you can still hold your elections the same day because a riot happened outside, how is the democracy at risk? It makes no sense. So it says, number five, the Alabama IVF issue. It says Biden falsely contended the Alabama Supreme Court shut down IVF treatments across the state. That is not what the decision said. As the Federalist Jordan Boyd reported, the article is linked here if you want to look, says Alabama's highest court ruled that embryos are people with inherent value, not legal property. So he said they shut it down, and all Alabama basically said was just, no, they're people, and you can still obviously keep doing this. So, yeah, I'd say he said the opposite of what actually happened. It says Kate Cox. Who is Kate Cox? It says Biden claimed the life of Kate Cox, a Texas woman who left the Lone Star State to obtain an abortion, was at risk during her pregnancy. Okay, I've heard tangentially about this. So Susan Bain wrote in these pages, Says Cox's now deceased unborn baby was diagnosed with trisomy 18. That sounds awful. A condition associated with severe developmental delays. Says these children can sometimes thrive in their early 20s, into their early 20s. Says Cox was not at risk of dying from the diagnosis, however. But yeah, that's what abortion folks like to do, is to say anybody who's seeking abortion, oh God, they're at risk. And it turns out that while her baby was diagnosed with this disease, like, she still could have had a decent life. I mean, in the early 20s. That's not a whole heck of a lot, but still. But the whole point of it being is that this woman was not at risk of dying. So there's that. So it says COVID shots and cancer. I'm probably going to have like a double note on the video now that I said COVID. It says Biden falsely claimed that COVID jabs are now being used to help beat cancer. I'm going to go ahead and press X to doubt on that one. But I'm not a doctor. I don't know if that is necessarily true. But I'm going to press X to doubt. But Joe Biden likes to say that he's going to cure cancer. And, well, everyone's still waiting for that. It says, number 8 is 15 million new jobs. I hate that he keeps saying this. It's such a misframing of what actually happened. It says, the president regurgitated the lie that his administration has created 15 million new jobs. That assertion is false, as Biden conflated jobs recovered after COVID lockdowns with actual new jobs created. Right. Yeah, basically, he's trying to take credit for people just going back to their jobs that they had pre-COVID. And saying that he created those jobs. Well, you can't create something that's already there. Kind of hard to do that. Okay, it's kind of like what I always say about Columbus coming to North America, is like, you can't discover a place that there's already people at. It's the same sort of thing. Let's keep going here. It says U.S. inflation rate. It says Biden claims the U.S. had the lowest inflation rate in the world. Numerous countries currently have a lower inflation rate. And here is an external link if you want to go ahead and click on that. It says consumer confidence is the next thing. As the president said that consumer confidence study shows consumer confidence is soaring. MarketWatch reported last month, however, that the consumer index fell to 106.7 from a revised 110.9 in January. Now, I don't know anything about economics. I have no problem saying that. I am an utter dunce when it comes to that stuff. It was always my worst subject in school. I understand like the basics at the most basic possible level, but that's it. I just am going to go ahead and assume because it went down. I don't know if this is necessarily a 4-point drop is horrible or what sort of bad it is, or if it's just kind of like, but, it went down, so I guess that's bad, so let's just go with that. Drug prices. As Biden said he's ending the trend of Americans paying more for prescription drugs than anywhere else. This is false, or that is false, it says, as Reuters recently reported that new drugs released by pharmaceutical companies last year were at prices 35% higher than in 2022. So everything is more expensive. The 12, Biden beat Big Pharma. As the president claimed his administration beat Big Pharma. However, the president empowered pharmaceutical companies when he unlawfully attempted to mandate private businesses force their employees to receive the COVID shot. Yeah, I don't know how you can say you beat Big Pharma when you were like basically working directly with them, but okay. So student loans. It says Biden contended that he fixed the student loan programs to reduce the burden of student debt for nearly 4 million Americans, including nurses, firefighters, and others in public service. That is false. Biden's illegal efforts merely transfer the responsibility of paying back these loans to individuals who never attended college that are already paid back their loans. That would be me. And I didn't have a lot of student loan. I've said this on other videos because I only went away to school for 1 year. Then I did community college for 1.5 years and stayed at a small university in state for the rest of my college. So my student loans were like mid 4 digits at most, I think. So I paid them off a long time ago. I've got other debt now. Fantastic. Good job, Jason. But the illegal efforts is alluding to the Supreme Court basically told him he can't do that. And he's going, oh, well I'm just going to do it anyway. So, yeah, it's illegal. It says, decreasing the federal deficit. Biden falsely claimed he cut the federal deficit by over $1 trillion. And I've heard him say this a lot, and I have not seen any shred of evidence supporting that. It says, and has been delivering real results in a fiscally responsible way. I'm going to press X to doubt on that as well, since both claims are false. In fact, the U.S. national debt has risen by more than $6 trillion since Biden took office. So why does he keep saying this? Oh, because he's a dementia patient acting as president. It says 15, corporations aren't paying their fair share. Biden insinuated that big corporations and the very wealthy do not pay their fair share. As organizations such as the Heritage Foundation have reported, wealthy Americans pay the large majority of taxes in the United States. I think I've heard that they actually pay like all of the taxes in the United States, so there's that. It says the Trump tax cuts. Biden falsely claimed that Trump tax cuts overwhelmingly benefited the very wealthy and the biggest corporations. And this is something Democrats have been saying since Trump put this into effect, and it's never been true since day one. Says data produced by the IRS has shown that on average, all income brackets benefited substantially from the Republicans' tax reform law, with the biggest beneficiaries being working and middle income filers, not the top 1%, according to The Hill. So you make of that what you will. This is the national debt under Trump. It says Biden stated that the Trump administration added more to the national debt than in any presidential term in American history. This is untrue. Democrats' favorite fact-checking outlet, PolitiFact, which I like how fact-checking is in scare quotes because, as you can probably imagine, that is satire, or I should say, satire is not the right word, but you get what I'm trying to say. PolitiFact is their clown shoes. So they admitted that former President Barack Obama accumulated more debt than Trump. The Inflation Reduction Act. In an apparent reference to the so-called Inflation Reduction Act, Biden claimed that nobody earning less than $400,000 will pay an additional penny in federal taxes. It says, yet, estimates produced by the Joint Committee on Taxation predict that the Democrats' bill does nothing to bring the economy out of stagnation and recession, but will raise billions of dollars in taxes on Americans making less than $400,000. That would be me. So, yay, thank you, Joe Biden. Says, how many billionaires? Says, the president claimed there are 1,000 billionaires in the U.S. according to Forbes. There are 735 billionaires in America as of 2023. Still a pretty decent amount. I mean, okay, fine. So we got a number wrong. I'm not going to be like harping on that necessarily, but still, given the fact that there's 30 whoppers in here, you might as well just kind of add it to the pile. It says, how much billionaires pay in taxes? It says, Biden falsely claimed the average federal tax rate for billionaires is 8.2%. Once again, the less favorite fact-checking site, PolitiFact, rated the president's assertion false, as the richest Americans pay an effective tax rate of more than 20% on the income government counts under the current tax code. So, again, we know the billionaires pay quite a bit. Then 20%, Jesus Christ, I can't imagine if I was being taxed at 20%. I mean, didn't we have, like, the Boston Tea Party when it was, like, paying 2% tax? Like, now we're doing this? Jeez. I'm pretty sure there was a revolution fought over this sort of thing. Says 21, the Ukraine border bill. Says Biden claimed the border boondoggle negotiated behind closed doors by Senate leadership contained the toughest set of border security reforms we've ever seen and would bring order to the border. That statement could not be further from the truth, as the bill would have only exasperated the ongoing southern border invasion. Of course, so he's just so everything that he's saying is like just the opposite of that is what's actually happening. So it says 22, election law falsehoods. The president insinuated that Republicans-backed election integrity measures, supported by most Americans, take us back in time and constitute voter suppression and election subversion. There has never been any evidence these laws do what the president suggested. And this reminds me of like Georgia, when they put in election integrity laws and everyone was screaming Jim Crow, and then they moved the Major League Baseball All-Star game out of Georgia because of that. And then after the 2022 election, I think they specifically pulled African Americans because that's who all the leftists were like, that's who it's going to affect. And it was seriously like every single African American said they had zero issues. Like the rate of them having issues was zero in Georgia. And so that's what happens, is that these laws go into effect, everybody has a better time, and things are easy, but then leftists come out and Democrats and are like, no, we can't do that. You know, because certain minority groups, because Democrats think they're dumb and can't actually do anything. So, yeah, there's that. So, election law falsehoods. Yeah, there you go. It says book bans. The president regurgitated the falsehood that conservatives are banning books. No, they're taking books out of libraries that are inappropriate for children. That's not a book ban. It's funny because the places that are saying that like they're going to be all inclusive tend to not have conservative books. Why? Well, that's a book ban. Okay, taking illicit materials out of school libraries so that children cannot see them is not a book ban. That's just called good parenting or being a decent person. It says 24, Lincoln Riley. It says Biden claimed an illegal immigrant killed a young woman named Lincoln Riley. That is incorrect. Her name is Laken Riley. So isn't Lincoln Riley like a college football coach? So he'd probably be very surprised to know that he's dead. It says 25, Trump's comments on the Iowa school shooting. It says Biden misrepresented remarks given by Trump in response to a January Iowa school shooting, which left one dead and several injured. As the Federalist reported, the shooter flirted with Democrat gender ideology. In the State of the Union address, Biden claimed Trump told Iowans to get over it. Of course, Biden took the comments out of context, which shows Trump sympathizing with the victims and speaking about the importance of moving forward as a community. It says, to the entire community, we love you, we pray for you, and we ask God to heal and comfort really the whole state. We're really with you as much as any can be. It's a very terrible thing that happened, Trump said. It's just terrible. That's just horrible. It's so surprising to see it here, but we have to get over it. We have to move forward. To all the relatives and all the people who are devastated right now to the point they can't breathe, they can't live, we're with you all the way. Yeah, kind of a little different than what Biden said that he said, but of course the Democrats need to lie because if they told the truth, they'd never win anything ever. So it says the Second Amendment. The president falsely claimed that a ban on so-called assault weapons doesn't constitute a violation of the Second Amendment. In fact, yes, it 100% does. I'm pretty sure that amendment says shall not be infringed, and I'll go as far as saying, and I've said this before, that any law against the Second Amendment is an infringement on it. So, yes, that is 100% a violation of the Second Amendment. Okay? It says Biden's teaching career. Says Biden falsely asserted he taught the Second Amendment for 12 years. Yeah, I know for a fact that never happened. I've made other videos about the fact that he said the teaching thing before. And he was like paid a salary to be somewhere, but he never actually taught anything. Dementia's a bitch, isn't it? It says 28, Gaza deaths. Biden said that most of the people killed in Gaza are not Hamas, including the thousands who are innocent women and children. Given that these figures are provided by local authorities, aka Hamas, it's unknown whether they are accurate, and I would say it's probably not. But let's just keep going. So America's prospects challenging China. Since Biden claimed the U.S. is in a stronger position to win the competition for the 21st century against China or anyone else for that matter. Since given the ongoing border invasion, economic woes, and foreign policy failures under Biden's presidency, this statement is not true. And 30, the idea of America, the final thing here says, Biden ludicrously contended that America has never fully lived up to the idea that we are all created equal. Wrong? Like, what are the last, 60 years? Or probably since, 68? Something like that. So 55 years, 56 years? Yeah, I'd say that's just definitely wrong. So what do you guys think about this? Did you watch the State of the Union? If you did, I'm sorry, and you're probably you should sue the government for to get your brain cells back. But what do you think about all these lies? I mean, if you're someone on the left side of the political spectrum, did you catch all this? Or are you just going to sit here and be like, nope, this is all good, nothing's wrong with the man? If you're anyone else, on the right side of the spectrum, are there any other things that maybe they missed here? Or do you have anything else to add? Or what did you think about it? Let me know in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon.